What up, everybody? We're going to be doing a Crucible video. Yeah, because the new season starts tomorrow. And I'm going to tell you guys how you can destroy your opponents, or at the very least, put up a good fight. No promises, guys. So in this video, we're talking about a philosophy. I'm going to talk about my recommendations, what I'm currently doing myself, and we'll go from there. So let's get into that right now. All right, so let's quickly go over the philosophy that we're going to be employing for this first week of this season. And that philosophy is going to be to make your opponent responsible for finding the counters for you. What does that mean? Well, that means we are going to turtle. I hate suggesting that, but that is the best way to win Crucible. So if you like winning, you probably want to do it this week, as ugly as that sounds. And what that does is you're going to make your opponent find the counters for you. This also means you should wait until like the end or close to the end, or at least after your opponent has attacked, to see what they do to your turtle. And that's going to give you some ideas to play around with that you didn't have to struggle with to find out on your own. It's an ugly tactic. It's a tactic I hate, but the game leaves it open. So I guess that's one they intend for us to use. In a perfect world, match history would be invisible until after you've done all your attacks as well. Something I tried to push for, but never got any traction on. So I guess, use the tools you got. So yeah, our philosophy is going to be turtle and make your opponents responsible for finding the counters for you. It's ugly, it's gross, and it works. It makes you win. So, all right, so I do have the rules for the room for every slide listed here, but I'm not going to read that. We've already done that ad nauseum. Instead, I'm just going to talk about what I would suggest putting in this room, what I recommend. And then at the end of the video, I'll show you what I'm actually doing. Like, there's going to be a lot of overlap there, but I just want to give a few options as well. So for stages 1 and 2, you just got to worry about the global stages. Let's just quickly look at who that affects the most. And this is going to be true for every single stage. So keep this in mind as we go. These are your mystic villain controllers. You notice not many of these characters are going to be influential on your defense anyway. Ebony Maw, no, hella hard counter by Astonishing X-Men Archangel. Loki, he's just there for his passive anyway. Like, that's nice when he takes his turn and doesn't mind control. But he's really just there to speed up a character like Cersei or Cloak or whoever you're using. So he's still usable. But that's a very bad team. Like, he's super squishy. That wouldn't be good on defense. Mordo, trash. Ronan, trash. Thanos, trash. Ultimus, I don't even know why he's still in the game. Yondu, trash. So the two characters that get impacted the most by the speed loss and the resistance loss is Dormammu and Heartless. Dormammu losing that speed makes him more vulnerable to counters like the Eternals. So I actually don't suggest you put him on defense. I wasn't going to do that anyway because he's already vulnerable. And at best, what Dormammu does is he gets an extra sack and then an easy cleanup after that, especially with the new rules. So I'm not a huge fan of Dormammu. Some people are talking about Dormammu with Wakanda in 6. Terrible idea. We'll talk about why when we talk about stage 6. And then Heartless. Oh, and also Dormammu's not going to be affected by the bleed from the global room because he's going to have immunity basically the entire time. So don't worry about that. Heartless, yes, he's going to be a bit slower. Yes, he loses resistance. And yes, he's going to gain a bleed, which will play into Darkhold's like strongest counter, which is the Undying team. So it sucks that happens to him, but his passive is still valuable enough to slot him in with the Darkhold team if you're going to put them on defense. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But let's get back to stages 1 and 2 and what I'm actually going to be using there. One of the rooms, I don't know yet. We'll talk more about that when we get to the live game. I'll tell you why I'm a little bit confused on what I'm going to do there. But for sure in one of the rooms, I'm going to be doing the Underworld Hydra team. The reason for that is the strong counter against that was War Dogs. Now, War Dogs, again, we'll talk about them in stage 6 because they're obviously on defense. Was War Dogs. So now that counter's not there. It gives the Underworld Hydra team more breathing room. What else countered that team? Your Uncanny did. Age of X is gone. That counter's gone. Young Avengers can get it done, but it's difficult. So if people want to be safe, they're probably going to go in there with Infinity Watch. Pulling Infinity Watch is a huge win with that. So Underworld Hydra is going to be great there. There's another couple counters that people can try there, like A-Force and stuff like that. But it gets sketchy and it'll cost a lot of efficiency. So I like Underworld there. So that as far as stages 1 and 2, Underworld Hydra for sure. And we'll talk about what the other option will be near the end of the video. So stage 3 kind of feels like the funnest room for theory crafting, mostly on the defensive end because it has that fortifier effect. Basically, it's like that Scourge, right? So when your character is a fortifier, uses ultimate, it spreads buffs. So what you want to do is when you craft a defense team for this room, you want to make sure that the person who's using their ultimate that is a fortifier has decent buffs to spread. And there's really only a handful of characters that have that kind of value on their first turn that are going to have buffs and are going to spread them right away. And the list is pretty short. In my mind, it's Fury. He can spread offense up when he does his ultimate, and he spawns a speed up, so he'll also spread that. Zemo, another fast character who's going to spread defense up and immunity. And Surfer, who's just going to spread defense up. So I think those are the three options you want to play around with, at least for this first week. As the season goes on, we're going to find more complex versions for this defense. It's going to be more like a character who uses their ultimate on turn 2, but before their second turn, they somehow are getting covered in buffs. The team is strong enough to survive that, and then they're going to go. Character that comes to mind, maybe something like Heartless, who can get covered with buffs by the time he does his ultimate, and then he could spread those to whoever he's adjacent with. But again, Heartless gets debuffed by the global room, so maybe not the best example. But I think that's where it's going to go. And then, of course, if we can get some strikers on there so that they're immune to offense down, that would, unless they have trauma, that would also be beneficial. So my gut reaction is Fury. I love spreading offense up. I love that he starts with speed up, so he's going quickly, and he's going to also spread that. And I want to put him around powerful characters, especially a character that can maybe get some one-shots right away. So I think Darkhold. I think Morgan using her ultimate as a striker, so she's immune to any kind of on-spawn offense down or whatever else can happen. And she's going to flip some kind of defense up and just destroy, absolutely destroy. So I really like the idea of buffing Morgan. So it might be Fury Darkhold. Another character I think about, Archangel. Again, him getting offense up when he does his ultimate and Dark Beast, all that kind of interactions with the triple tap there, if he's a striker, I really like that as well. That's a big nuke. And then I also like Gamma. I like getting buffs to Gamma to also spread buffs. Now that's a little bit more complicated of a setup. And again, we're going to talk, this is the room I think is most interesting that impacts what my stage 1 will be. And we'll talk about that when we get to the live. I'll show you some of the options I'm playing around with. But I'm definitely thinking Fury as the centerpiece, feeding off into others. But yeah, let's go talk about the more boring rooms now, but probably the more impactful rooms as well. All right, so stage 4, Resurrection Protocols on spawn. Hero mutants gain revive once and immunity. Look, they couldn't have spelt this out more for you. This is your unlimited defense room. Any other hero mutants you put in here are super prone to counters. You can put Astonishing in here. I will destroy it with an Eternals team. I'll kill them twice before they get a turn. It'll be ridiculous, right? Same with Uncanny. Same with what other X-Force? Sure, put your X-Force in here. Put your X-Factor in here. I don't care. They'll get destroyed before they get a turn. And if they do get a turn, there'll only be a few of them left, and it's not going to do any damage to me efficiency-wise. So it's going to be unlimited in here for sure. Full unlimited. Do not make the mistake of going in here with, for your defense, your unlimited team with a Cable or with an Emma. Because if your rogue goes first, yes, you will turn me to rewind the rogue. But they're going to have the safeguard and everything, and they also will have immunity because this is not locked behind defense. So it doesn't really play out well. Instead, you want to have your full hero mutant team, so they're all making use of the revive once and all making use of the immunity. And notice there is no health trigger on this. They don't need to be at 100% life for this to happen. So the mirror matchup is probably going to be the only way to one-shot it comfortably. Maybe we'll figure something else out. But after that, it'll be a sack followed by follow-up attacks. They'll still have to deal with this room's bonus, and that'll be a problem. The mirror matchup, yes, someone can mirror match it, but it means you have an easier time on your end. It'll also mean that they're going to lose a lot of efficiency. Because in this mirror matchup, it's going to take a while to kill a fully built unlimited team twice over. Yeah, it's going to take a while. So I'd be concerned about doing that mirror matchup, costing yourself efficiency. Instead, put them on defense. Again, put the onus on your opponent to figure out the best methods for you. And in this first week, most people are sure to struggle, and it should get you an easy victory. So let's go ahead and look at stage 5. Creeping Spiders. When any Spider-Verse character has stealth, that character gains 20% damage. Gee, I wonder who they're talking about. Is it Noir? Is it 2099? Or is it Miles Morales? Probably not Miles Morales, because even with 20% damage, he sucks. Just don't do Miles Morales, guys. It's a waste of the slot. Reduce resistance by 20% damage for characters with bleed. Yes, Noir does bleed. 29 does bleed. That's great. If we could find more characters to surround them that'll feed off bleeds, maybe Dark Hunters, they'll go faster. But again, I don't think that's going to matter much. This room may be updated in the future. It definitely should be, because this room does not make Tangled Web viable. Or maybe it shouldn't be, because stages 4 and stages 6 are already a headache enough. Or maybe they're going to update this once they release the full Masters of Evil team. So it'll go back to 2 super difficult rooms and they can tax our currency. I don't know. Let's keep the tinfoil hat stuff for another time. Yeah, you're probably going to go in here with a Tangled Web team. I definitely am. The trick is you want to find a team, a Tangled Web version that's going to be difficult for Infinity Watch and difficult for Death Seed, because those are the 2 teams that can come in here besides a mirror matchup and win very easily. And if they do come in here with a mirror matchup, fine, whatever they put on defense will be easier for you. So you might as well have it on defense and try and make it as difficult as possible for Infinity Watch and Death Seed, or to last a little bit longer, maybe throwing some tanks in there. So definitely Tangled Web. When we go into the live again, I'll show you some of the versions that I'm thinking about playing around with. There are some other versions that can actually cause trip-ups, but I'm not sure if that level of a turtle is going to be worth it, because we do also need to clear some stuff. But we'll get into that when we get into that. Let's go ahead and look at stage 6, which is the stage everybody cannot stop talking about, for good reason. All right, so Vibranium Tuning, or just, it should just be called Super Saiyan Wakanda Room, because that's what it does, right? Your Wakandas are going to be crazy, extra damage, cannot be controlled unless they have trauma. If they do have trauma, they're going to gain 50% speed. They gain additional speed when they spawn with speed up. They stop revives, so no Dormammu. And the most important thing is non-tech characters clear charge on the end of their turn. So when I always said, you might as well put Tangled Web on defense, it's because Tangled Web will not work here on offense. The way it's worded, first of all, 2099 is going to go after all the Wakandans at this point. Wakandans gaining that 20% speed means that even though 2099 is super fast, he's not going to be as fast as them anymore. So you'll probably die before you get a turn. But more to the point, Spider Weaver is non-tech. She is a mystic. She will ultimate. She will put trauma on somebody. They're going to gain 50% speed. That's neither here nor there. She's then going to gain charge. Yay, yippee! She's going to stop all the attacks from hitting you. Except no, because your turn is going to end. Those charges are going to clear, and now you have a super squishy Tangled Web team. You have 0 protection against it. You're going to die. Tangled Web will not work here. Don't try it. At least the way it's worded. Unless for some reason Spider Weaver holds onto her charges until her next turn, but that's not the way it's worded. So Wakanda obviously are going to be your defensive choice here. The question is, which version of Wakanda / War Dogs is going to be best? Up in the air, I guess, but my version is going to be with Black Panther 1 million and Killmonger, and then the core 3. Your Black Panther, your Shuri, your Okoye. Obviously Okoye for the assist, obviously Shuri for the speed up. Black Panther gives a bunch of stuff in Crucible that I don't think you want to miss out on at all. So why Black Panther 1 million and Killmonger? Well, let's ask why not Nakia, right? Nakia is super fast. She hits really hard, but she loses a lot of her damage outside of war. Her pings don't hit as much, and she doesn't get as charged, so she's not even doing it as much. That she was valuable because of her speed before, but now that Killmonger is gaining speed, that kind of closes the gap there, especially on the defensive end. I'd rather have Killmonger. So that's why Nakia. So then why 1 million over M'Baku? 1 million, he's got the speed that Nakia has, which is nice. And now he's giving defense down. And he's doing huge damage. So why does that outvalue M'Baku? M'Baku does, I believe, reduce the armor for targets with vulnerable, which is pretty much everybody because of Okoye. Because defense down, the damage, and the focus that he's getting from this room. Black Panther 1 million is just going to absolutely shred through people, load them with defense down, and because he's so fast, it's going to help you counter, say, a team like Young Avengers. First of all, I don't think Young Avengers will touch this room anymore. I think Killmonger might go before Squirrel Girl, even if health triggers are hit, which was why Young Avengers countered them before. So I think that's going to fall apart. He's also another source of defense down besides just Okoye's special. Defense down is more impactful than what M'Baku's passive did. And M'Baku, he does do good things, right? He does give the defense up. He does taunt. He does give a bunch of charges. He hits pretty hard, but nothing compared to Black Panther 1 million. And this alone would be difficult, but if people find a way to sack a full Wakanda team and pull all the way to, say, M'Baku, Ultimate M'Baku Special, without, Black Panther just snowballing and saving all of his teammates' cooldowns, if they can find a way to do that, that would be bad. Then you'd be able to go in there with an easier team and get through it. With 1 million, if they try and do that and they can survive all the way, well, his special is super, super strong. His cooldowns are very short, so he's more likely to get back to them in time. I just think he's going to be a stronger offensive weapon and a bigger headache. So that's why I'll be using Black Panther 1 million over M'Baku. But I kind of ranted there. I hope I made some sense. Let's go ahead and look in game, and I'll show you what I'm actually going to be doing and the conundrum I find myself with stages 1 and 3. All right, so as promised, we're going to show you, and I'm going to show you what I'm using on defense. But first things first, my challengers: Youngswole, Goddess, Kel, Tanjiro, Moblak, Casey, Welmingo. None of you should be watching this part. Go away now, okay? But if you're choosing to stay and you're going to cheat and watch what I'm putting on defense anyway, please at least go down in the comment section, leave a comment to drive engagement. Thank you. That'd be appreciated. All right, let's get in there. So stage 1, Bionic Avengers, placeholder. Ignore that. That's not going to be there. The Underworld Hydra team is definitely going to be there. Like I said, a lot of their counters are no longer viable given it's a new season. I want to see what that pulls, what it causes, the chaos. What you do want to notice here is now Zemo is not available for 2 different things that he'd be useful for. He's no longer used in Room 3 defense, so he's not giving the defense up and immunity to people, and he's not used against a Room 3 on offense. So like if you see somebody has Fury in there and your Zemo's on offense, you can send Zemo in there and he can strip the Fury of the speed up before Fury even gets to spread it. He can also go ahead and ability block the Fury so he can't spread offense up as well. That's going to be a strategy I'm sure is employed. What I would say is with Darkhold in there, that's less likely to matter in a one-shot attempt. So if somebody needs to build a team around Zemo to beat Darkhold, it becomes a little bit sketchier because Zemo is a liability there. He's just super squishy, which feeds into the Strange, and you can snowball like that. So I think Darkhold is the best match there, given that weakness in the Fury strategy. However, I also may be taking Darkhold off defense. We're going to circle back to stages 1, 3, and a point of 5 after we go through the rest. Because my wheels are turning after doing this video, and I'm starting to see some holes in my own game. So I want to plug those holes up. So for stage 4, full unlimited team, make somebody do the mirror matchup, make them show you what they're going to do on maybe a 2-tap without the mirror matchup. That would be very important knowledge, and then you can save yourself the time. And also, because it's the first week of this Revive Once, people are more likely to slip up, make mistakes, even in the mirror matchup. So I do like Unlimited there. Then we have Tangled Web. Because Tangled Web, not really going to be great against an Unlimited team with immunity or Wakanda team that doesn't let them do what Tangled Web does. I'm going to keep them on defense. So we have the full Tangled Web team. I got Captain America and Captain Sam in here right now. That could also change depending on what I do with 1 and 3. So keep that in mind. I don't think this stops a Death Seed or Infinity Watch team. My hope is that it just kind of prolongs the fight, causes some efficiency, maybe causes a slip up. If you wanted to make this team better, you would definitely want to throw Doom in there. Doom could help you beat an Infinity Watch team. Absolutely. It will help you beat the Death Seed team. Absolutely. Unless they one-shot Doom, which is also possible. So I think that is a stronger option, but I don't want to drain everything off offense. I think Doom might be instrumental in, say, beating a Unlimited team or even maybe beating a Wakanda team with some kind of crazy counter that I've been trying to work on. So I'm going to keep him at least for now, but he would be a stronger option here. And we'll come back to what I might switch. And then we got stage 6. We talked about this is the exact Wakanda team I said I think is going to be the best. We're going to see what they do. The only thing that made me sad here is the size of it, which is crazy because they're all level 90, gear tier 16. They're all at least 6 red stars. But I've seen my opponents with like 1.3, and I'm so worried about what I'm going to run into tomorrow. But yeah, that's what's going to be there. So let's go circle back now to stages 1 and 3. And what might I do? So I have an idea of what I want to do to a Wakanda team, and it might completely fail. And if it does fail, I tend to think Darkhold might be the only answer that you can throw at the Wakanda team. May not clear it. It might clear it. It might one-shot it. I don't know. Darkhold is a very strong team. They have, with the defense up and the safeguard, they're immune to a lot of stuff. They have 100% resistance. They might be the answer to the Wakanda team. So maybe you don't want to put them on defense because in this strategy, if you do overload your defense and they do a moderate defense and you can't full clear them, but they manage to clear you because they had a counter to 6 and nothing else works but Darkhold, then you would lose and this philosophy falls on its face, right? So that is a risk. So maybe Darkhold is safe to use at least on offense for this week. Not safe, but maybe it's smartest to use them on offense for this week, because for the unlimited, if they mirror your unlimited, then it doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about them. If they don't mirror your unlimited, then you can just copy what they do, unless what they do has something to do with Darkhold, right? And that is kind of the only team that I can see that being a thing with, is Darkhold and the Wakanda team. Maybe Wakanda is not going to be clearable by anything except for like 3 taps with Infinity Watch, some kind of Eternal Comp, and something else on the other side. Or maybe Darkhold can one-shot it, and if they have that option and you don't, done, right? So I ranted a little bit there. Let's just talk about what I would replace it with. Well, Bionic Avengers is there as a placeholder for a reason. That's because I have a couple other ideas I would do here, but they all still center around the use of Nick Fury, giving offense up and speed up. So let's talk about this team here for a second. I can't believe I just hit ready. I didn't want to save this. So Fury in the middle, giving speed up and offense up to A-Bomb and She-Hulk. The reason for this is they both stun turn 1, but I wouldn't leave them in their current ISOs. I would also make them fortifiers for a cascading effect. So Fury would give them those buffs. A-Bomb would then stun and give speed up and offense up to Braun, who would then go and use, or maybe She-Hulk will go first. I'm not sure how the speed will play out there, being that the speed up is gained at different points. But regardless, Braun will then do a 40% attack. I'd make him a striker. Hopefully he's getting into a vulnerable somehow at that point, and he can give offense down, or he's just going to do more damage. Maybe I'll make him a healer, whatever the case may be. Maybe I'll leave him a skirmisher. I don't know. I don't think Braun's ISO matters is what I'm trying to say here. She-Hulk will also definitely be a fortifier. She will get a stun, and then she's going to give offense up and speed up to Hulk. I don't think I need to explain what that does. That makes Hulk special hit super hard. Hulk smash, right? Great. This is an option. I think this one is easily countered with a Zemo team or many other teams, to be honest with you. Even if you just go in there and you do a burn attack kind of thing, I think that'd be perfectly fine. So this is an option. I don't think it's as strong as Darkhold, though. I do think Darkhold is the strongest option, though maybe not the smartest. Then there's this team, Death Seed, taking out Psylocke for Fury. The idea is similar here. We're going to give offense up and speed up to Nemesis and to Archangel. Magneto still goes first here. There's no point in speeding him up. Magneto needs to go back to Striker. I'm not sure why he's a skirmisher right now. He'll blind everybody. Nemesis' big issue was speed. He's now going to be hitting quickly and with offense up. Archangel on defense, big issue was that he was, well, if in mirror matchup, he's blinded, but also it's smarter to use his special when you're in control. But at least this way, Fury is going to give Archangel offense up to hit with his ultimate. So it's going to hit extra hard, making this defense even a little bit better than the Psylocke version, at least in my opinion. But you need Magneto for the blinds, you need Dark Beast for the assists, and I think Nemesis going faster, hitting harder, outweighs the Psylocke. So that's why we're taking Psylocke out. So those are my two options, right? We got a Death Seed version and a Gamma version to replace the Darkhold. Imagine that's Darkhold still there in room 3, please. So what'll I do in 1? One of the Horseman teams is going to go into 1. Whether that be Gamma or whether that be Death Seed, they both have more breathing room this season than they did the last. So you think about the counters for Death Seed. Well, there's Infinity Watch. Pulling Infinity Watch would be great. Mirror matchup, pulling the mirror matchup would be great. What else was used? Uncanny was used. Age of X is done. That's not going to counter Death Seed anymore. Young Avengers was used. Young Avengers can be a little sketchy with that, so Death Seed has a little bit more breathing room. But Gamma has a lot more breathing room than they did last season. So the Uncanny versus Gamma matchup, not going to work anymore. The Wakanda matchup versus Gamma, well, Wakandas are clearly going to be on defense now. That's not going to work anymore. The Omega Red counter to the Gamma team when they were in Stage 6, that's not going to work anymore either. So Gamma is a big winner this season without having it to be spelled out for us. They're just better on defense now than they were. Yes, an Eternals team will still beat them, but then pulling Eternals is great. Yes, Infinity Watch will still beat them, but that's great. There's some Secret Avengers comps that can mess with the Gamma team, but that's sketchy at best, so kind of scary, right? So that's going to be my comp. It's either going to be Death Seed Gamma in 1, Death Seed Gamma or Darkhold with Fury in 3, And if I do use Gamma in 3, then I'm going to put Green Hulk with Captain Sam. Because I would prefer to keep She-Hulk in there with her turn 1 stun than I would to keep Hulk in there with his taunt. I just think that snowball effect will pick up more. And then Hulk with Captain America in room 5, obviously they bounce off each other. I'll make them both healers. That would be a nightmare to deal with. So there'd be that. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, stay happy, healthy, have fun. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you want to see some infographics, check out the Patreon. Just use Dorky Dad and Patreon. Maybe I'll get that link. It will be in the description below, regardless. And most importantly, enjoy Sunday with your family or your friends. Take it easy, and hopefully you have fun this Crucible. Also, let me know how happy you are that Age of X is done, because I am breathing a sigh of relief that Age of X is done. Now it's Age of Wakanda. Let's go.